going to talk about outfield play, and speaking of outfield play, one of the first things that we want to discuss is throwing techniques and how to grip the ball. Number one, the outfielders should grip the ball across the seams. The fingers slightly spread apart, not too wide, because that's how you throw a split finger, and you don't want to throw that. So your fingers are going to be relatively close. Your thumb is going to be in a direct line in the gap between your two fingers. If the thumb gets off center, this is what causes the ball to tail or sink or sail, the things you don't want an outfielder to do. So that's one of the grips, and the only grip that we want our players to use when they go to throw the ball. In throwing, you want the elbow above the shoulder, at least parallel to slightly above the shoulder. Sometimes people get confused and say overhand, and they think up here. This is overhand. That's overhand right there. That's sidearm. That's overhand, that's sidearm. Because if I were to release this ball in this position here, it's going to have 3-6 spin on, or what, 3-9 spin on it. What we want to have is 12-6 spin on it. So it's not in necessarily where the arm's at, other than you want the elbow up, is the fact that you want your hand behind the ball. And oftentimes we get players, someone says throw overhand, and the outfielders are trying to get up here too high, and then when they get up here and they release the ball, it comes out this way, and the ball has a tendency to tail down and into the right. It's a common fault that we see. So we have our players to just make sure the elbow's parallel slightly up and hand stays behind the ball, and that'll cause the ball to travel in a much truer flight. As far as the feet go, when you go to throw, you want to stride so that the body's closed, the shoulder and everything is closed. That when the foot hits the ground, the hand should be on top of the ball and the ball facing down. A lot of young outfielders get here and turn their hand underneath the ball. This causes you to push the ball. You want to land so that your hand is in this position and everything's closed, the front foot's closed. As you start to pivot on your front foot and come forward, then the hand will roll over and the feet will pivot, and when you reach the release point, you'll be in this position here. To release it, release the ball, the hand will continue coming down until it comes outside the left leg. If he's left-handed, it'll be just the opposite. The hand goes outside the knee, and the fingers in the whole time stay on top of the ball in this fashion, so that the ball will carry in a true flight. The arm action and hand action is very important because outfielders have a longer distance to throw than infielders. So they don't have to be in as big a hurry, but they want to be accurate with their throw. If they're throwing to the relay man, the cutoff man, or throwing to a base, they want to be accurate. So they're entitled to a little longer arm swing. So an outfielder's arm swing is going to come down, hand remains on top of the ball, all the way back, elbow stays bent. A lot of times people think of extension. Extension occurs after you release the ball. If I were extended here, then the only joint that I got working is my shoulder. That means I throw like in this fashion. I'm going to lose a lot of speed. Where if my arm is in this position, I have this much hand action, wrist action, and finger action. If I get my arm straightened out, the only joint I got working is a shoulder, and you're not going to throw as well. That's why the arm has got to be bent in this fashion here when you go to throw. So the arm swing would be down, fingers on top of the ball, come over, release it. Hold the ball loosely and hold the ball out in the fingertips. Don't choke it. Hold it loosely and out in the fingertips. So now when you go to throw the baseball, your hand's going to stay on top, your body stays closed. As you come through, the hand starts to turn over, the toes point in the direction you're going to throw the ball, you release the ball, the follow through occurs outside the knee of the stride foot, and then the shoulder comes down towards the outside knee. And that is the arm action that you have. The glove that the outfielder has should be a decent sized glove. Infielders normally use smaller gloves, outfielders use bigger gloves. I get concerned sometimes because I think outfielders get too big of gloves, and the ball hits their glove and they don't know if they've caught it or not. So I prefer them to use a decent sized glove, but some of them look like enormous gloves for the size of their hands at that age, and I think they have some difficulty with that. Well, when they catch the ball, if they're going to one-hand the ball, they should catch the ball up in this position here in their glove. If they can. If it's a play where they're fielding a ground ball or a fly ball and the runner's tagging up and they want to get rid of the ball quickly, it's better to catch the ball down in here. So as the ball hits in the glove here, the bare hand can come in, take the ball out of the glove. I take it out with 3 or 4 fingers. Then as my hand is turning and coming down and I'm getting my footwork into position, I get the ball across the seams so that when I reach the release point, I then have the ball in that position. The problem I don't like with 2 fingers, sometimes if you get it in there and you don't get a good grip on it, the person can't get a hold of it and he can't get it adjusted in his hand. Where if you got 3 or 4 fingers, it's easy just to take the ball while you're coming back with it and turn it in those fingers and get that position on the ball. I think that makes you a more accurate thrower. So the glove that they use is caught in here, down lower. If a person's tagging up, come in over the front, take the ball out. The glove drops down with the fingers facing down, and as you release the ball, the glove turns and comes back. We're finding more and more young players that as they go to throw the ball are bringing their glove across their chest. So they got their left shoulder, or their front shoulder, that should be coming out of the way so their shoulders and hips can get through. As they start to throw, they're bringing this glove across, and they're limiting the range of the right arm coming through because they bring the glove across their body. We're seeing it in pitchers, position players, and it's something that we're trying to get away from. I'm going to play catch here with one of the coaches or players and just show you the techniques that we use in throwing. When we go to throw, we have one spot that we throw at. We play catch above the head. We play catch that high. And the reason is, just take a step or two, if this is my first release point up here and I follow through up high, then when I go to throw from here to home plate 150 feet farther, my release point's the same. Where if I'd have thrown at his knees, let's say this had been my release point, then he backs up, this is my release point, and then my release point keeps getting higher and farther back. We just have one release point, and they play catch that way every day. And if you play catch every day one way, you're going to become very accurate. Also, as a coach, when I walk by, I can tell how serious they are about playing catch. They're throwing the ball down here, I know they're not concentrating. But I know if they're taking the ball here and playing catch up above the head, the arms following through, at least we know that they're working on something and not just sitting there throwing the ball all over the ballpark. When we catch a ball, be it a fly ball or a ground ball, if we are a right-handed thrower, we want the left foot slightly forward when we catch the ball. Then, as we catch the ball, we lean onto that foot and hop through onto the back foot. Stride and release the ball. Don't take any more steps than that, because you see outfielders come up and they catch the ball, and every time they take a step like that, they say a runner gets in about 3 strides. This is throwing position. Once you get in this position, throw it. If I hop 10 times, when I get ready to throw it, I'm still going to be in this position. So get there one time, catch the ball. You see, if I'm right-handed, my left foot's forward, I catch the ball, I hop through, and then I release it. And that way, that's going to slow the runner down. The quicker an outfielder catches the ball, gets to it, and the quicker he releases it, you as a coach, that determines whether or not you send the runner or not. If I see outfielders taking extra steps, our runners are apt to keep running. If I see the outfielder come up and get in throwing position, I'm a coach, then immediately I'm going to try to stop that runner. So those are some of the thoughts that we have with our outfield play. As far as ground balls go in fielding, we try to line the ball up the field with our glove inside our front foot and our crotch. We don't line it up in the center of our body. We line it up slightly to the glove side. And the reason is, as the glove's facing here, if the ball takes a bad hop over this far, I can still face, and my palm's still facing the ball. If I start out with my glove in the middle, now the ball goes a little to right. The moment I move this glove, the pocket's not facing the ball. The pocket should be here, and to exaggerate, if I get way over here, now the ball can't go in the glove. So that's why we start out here. And as you start to field the ball, there's a tendency for fielders to lean onto their front foot. So now as I lean onto the front foot and make contact with the ball, now the ball's in the center of my body. If I line it up with the center of my body, and now I make a lean, now the glove gets over here to that side. So we start with our glove here and lean in towards our glove to keep our glove in that position. And we think that helps us. So if fielding a ground ball, if the ball was being fielded there and as an outfielder I came in, I'd field it in here, pick this ball up, hop through, turn, stay closed, hand on top of the ball, release it, and follow through. If I play catch on a fly ball, I catch a fly ball or just playing catch. Whenever the ball's thrown to me, my left foot's forward. Whichever hand my glove's on, that foot's forward. I catch the ball and I hop through and I throw it. We don't take extra steps when we play catch. So if I was playing catch, there'd be my footwork. Slow down. There'd be my footwork. Foot forward, catch the ball, take it out, stride through, come up, release the ball. We're going to get a couple of players here. Now, they're going to play catch a few seconds here. They haven't done this before. They're going to play catch head high. You watch, see if their hand stays on top of the ball. Does their glove get out? Does their foot point where they want to play catch? High. Follow through. Pretend you're throwing 300 feet. But don't throw hard. Don't have to throw hard. Work on your footwork. Left foot forward. Chaplain, left foot forward. Catch it. Come through. There you go. Work on that. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's the idea of what we have our players to do every day when they're working at that. The other thing is we'll get into a couple of drills and a couple of things we'll talk about here to you. One is anytime the ball is hit down the left field line or the right field line, a line drive or a fly ball, it is always going to curve towards the foul line. Always. So we teach our outfielders that if the ball is hit over their inside shoulder, playing left field or right field, hit over their inside shoulder. We'll say now I'm playing left field. If the ball's hit over my inside shoulder, I'm going to open up this way because that ball's going to come out and curve towards the foul line. You see too many outfielders, the ball's hit here and they turn this way. Now they take a step back. Now the ball starts hooking on them, and then they have to make a move to go catch the ball. That makes it tough. In right field, the same way. If the ball's hit over my right shoulder in right field, I'm going to open up this way. Whenever you open up, whether you open up to your left or to your right, open up far enough that the ball stays on that side of your body. Let's say that the ball was hit right there where that ball's at. And say I open up to my left, which will say is wrong. But if I open up this far and go back, now at least I kept the ball on that side of my body. So that's the important thing, I think, is to keep the ball on the side of your body once you turn for it. Okay? I got a drill here that we're going to show you with these outfielders in a moment where we do that. The other thing is when you go back and you're chasing a fly ball, if the ball starts to bounce like this, you have outfielders that come in sometime and they'll say to you, well, the ball started bouncing on me. What happens is when they're running, they got down on their heels. And when their heels start hitting the ground, their head starts jarring, and the ball looks like that, and they got to make a decision of which one of the three to catch. And sometimes they pick out the wrong one. So if that ever happens, they've either got to slow down or get back up on their toes. Once they get back up on their toes, then it'll get steady again, and that ball will set still. So a drill that we use, and I'm going to put these three outfielders right here just a moment, or four outfielders right here. Give me the ball there. All right, one of you at a time. He's going to stand there. I'm going to throw the ball over his head, and he's got to break which way it is. Okay. He turned wrong, but he made an adjustment. That's okay. The thing is, you got to make the adjustment. Let's go again. All right. There he is. The ball's that way. He goes back, gets the ball, gets rid of it. Head high, concentrates. Oftentimes, their job, they catch the ball, and then they throw it away. Catching the ball is part of it. Your job is not over until after you throw the ball. Here's another good drill. I got Jeff in here. I used Jeff a minute ago. Jeff will start running out that direction, start jogging that way. And I throw the ball to him. And he goes back, he can catch and turn either way he wants to throw. That's good. Now, we go out again. He goes out to his left again. There, now we throw the ball on the other side of him. He's got to find out which way to turn and go get the ball. In that situation, we're saying that he misjudged the ball, but he still made an adjustment. All we wanted to see on Jeff there was he went this way and the ball was on the wrong side of him. Does he turn and go this way to get it? Or does he turn back this way? We don't care. But he will find out what is best for him if you practice it. Don't make them all do the same. Just let them do it whichever way they can do it. Show them both ways, whichever way they can handle it the best. Let that be their way. And so that's a drill you can use inside. It's a drill you can use when it's wet, when it's raining. And you can throw to them. So here they go again. They don't know where it's going. I can throw it straight over his head, to his left or to his right. I can have him start jogging out first. Start jogging to that way. He's jogging that direction. I throw it. He keeps going. He makes a catch. Okay. Next outfielder comes up. He starts jogging that way again. We throw it to the other side. Somehow he's got to make a move to try to go make the play. And that's what you work on. That's a great drill. Who is the most neglected players on your team? The most neglected players on your team are your outfielders. When an infielder makes a mistake, the guy goes from home to first. When the outfielder makes a mistake, he goes from first to home. They're going to give up 2 or 3 bases when they make a mistake. It's very important that you work with them. I say this, outfielders don't always like it. You know why a person is an outfielder? He can't catch ground balls. That's why they're outfielders. Most of them become outfielders. They say, I got a great arm and I can really run fast. Wouldn't that be a great shortstop? Guy that's really quick, got great arm, great movement, be a great shortstop. But that's one thing. So you have to make sure that you work with them on it. And the other thing is, you got to make sure you hit them a lot of ground balls. We have a drill where we take our players during batting practice, and between first base and second base, that's their little domain out there. And we have a fungo hitter who constantly hits some ground balls. He doesn't try to kill them, but he just hits some ground balls. And they're sitting in there watching the second baseman's down here field and the first baseman. And these outfielders are going like this, and they're getting hit in the shins and on the arms. And after a while, they say, hey, that little second baseman's pretty good. He gets down low to the ground. And then before long, the outfielders get low to the ground. When the outfielders come in and tell you they want to start taking infield, then you know they're confident on fielding ground balls. And I don't care if they're left-handed and they want to play second base in infield practice, let them do it. Because at least they're starting to get confidence now that they can field ground balls. So that's one of the things you use. Anytime we hit them a fly ball, we expect them to catch it. Since we expect them to catch it in practice, we want them to catch it right. We want them to catch it with whichever hand the gloves on, that foot to be slightly forward. We want them to catch it here, take the correct footwork, and then throw the ball. We don't care if they throw hard or not. My arm may be killing me. My arm's about to fall off, but it doesn't slow my feet down. Get quick feet, you'll have a quick release. They always talk about people with quick releases. They all have quick feet. Because if I'm in this position, I can't throw. I've got to get to this position. And if I can get to that position, then I'm in a position that I can throw the ball and get something on it. I'm going to give you a set of rules that we have. This is a set of rules we use for our outfielders. It also tells our infielders where to be on cutoffs and relays. And it's very simple. We've had a number of players in the big leagues that are outfielders, and I ask them what they use, and they say, this is what we still use, is what you taught us. If the ball's hit directly at you, as an outfielder on 1 or 2 hops, you try to throw out the lead runner. That means if a runner's on first, you're going to throw to third. If a runner's on second, you're going to go home. That means if I'm playing left field here and the ball's hit to me on 1 or 2 hops, that means I'm going to have the ball in my glove and I'm going to be up in this position before he touches third base. If he's on second, so I should be able to throw him out from this position. If the outfielder has to go to his left or right and go in on the ball, and he comes in and he picks it up, I can come up with all intentions of throwing to third. I don't think I have a play, then I can readjust and go to second because I got closer to the infield since I moved in. If I feel the ball going away laterally from my position, back at about a 45-degree angle, going away from my position, and I feel the ground ball, I'm going to throw the ball to second base. Because the guy on first is going to go to third, the guy on second is going to score. Not going to throw him out. You see all kinds of throws made to the wrong bases. If the ball's hit past me, off the fence, I'm going to throw the relay man. Now, that's all you got to know. So I'm playing left field, there's a runner on second, the ball's hit to me on 1 or 2 hops. If the third baseman's going to line the throw up with home, he knows that. He saw the ball come here on 1 or 2 hops. He's going to line up home. The shortstop's going to move to third. The infielders know what to do because they know the same rules that I know. So that helps our relay men and our cutoff men know where to be. We don't have guys go to the right or left and then come up and throw the wrong base. It just doesn't happen. And what you will find when you put this in is that your outfielder will have the ball and will be up in position to throw before the runner gets to third. So you got to play. But if I'm going away and I feel the ball and it's the same place, by the time I take the other 2 or 3 extra steps to get myself balanced and get braced and come back, he's now going to be around the base and you're probably not going to throw him out. So that's our simple outfield rules. That's the only outfield rules we have. Another thing we remind our outfielders, a pop fly over the infield. Outfielders come running in, you hear these big heavy feet. And I'm an infielder running like this, I'm very vulnerable. And then finally, I'm an infielder, I slow down, the ball falls, and I say, gosh, I can have had that ball. So we have our outfielders to do this. Since outfielders have priority over the infielders, if they're not going to take that ball, then they will yell, shortstop, shortstop, shortstop. Third baseman, third baseman, third baseman. They're saying, you got all the room you need if you want to dive, dive for it, I'm not going to hit you. Then if I'm going to take the ball as the outfielder, then I call for it, and then I take it, then I have priority over the infielders. Since we've put this in, we've had no collisions, and we've had some great plays made by our infielders because they know that they're not going to get run over by some outfielder. And that's something that infielders always worry about when they're running with their head up. Another thing with our outfielders, we have a kind of an alignment. If there's a right-hand hitter up, if you ever look at your left fielder, he'll be playing here, and if he looks at the center fielder, the center fielder will be inside of him. If the center fielder looks at the right fielder, he'll be inside the center fielder. So if the ball is hitting this gap here in left center, right-hand hitter, if I run straight across to my left and the center fielder comes to his right, the center fielder will have the inside track, I'll have the outside track on a line drive in the gap, and that helps prevent us from colliding with each other. So if one of us is going to dive for it, if we both dived at the same time, we should dive like this. Shouldn't be a head-on collision. If the ball goes, that means he can try to dive for it and make the play because I'm going to back him up because I got the back track. The same thing would occur with the right-hand hitter if it's hit the right center field. The center fielder would have the outside track because normally the right fielder's playing a little shallower. He'll have the inside track. And the reverse is true when you have the left-hander hitter up because now the outfielder on this side is going to be in and the outfielders on the right side, as a rule, are going to be a little deeper. If you just have a few little rules for your outfielders, that helps them and it helps the infielders. Playing balls off the fence. In this fence, here's a chain link fence. The ball's not going to bounce off of it. The outfielders can run into this fence. They just hope they try to find out where the poles aren't when you're chasing it. But you got a chance to go into it. You want to know if there's a warning track. How many steps can I take after I hit that warning track? If there's no warning track, you got to have some other guide. You got to look back there and say, well, from where I'm at, I got about 15 steps. And so after I take 9 or 10 steps, then I got to start thinking a little more. But if I'm only going to take 6 steps, I shouldn't have to worry about where the fence is at. If it's a wooden fence or a concrete fence, chain link fence, go up and throw the ball off of it or hit the ball off of it and see how hard it comes off. So that you know if the ball's going to hit or bounce back to you or not. Always check those things. If the ball's lying still after it comes off the fence or anywhere, pick it up barehanded. If the ball's rolling, we like to use our glove and bare hand together and scoop the ball up. But if it's lying dead on the ground, we pick the ball up barehanded and get rid of it. Sun, playing the sun. Here I'm facing the sun. I got my glove up, I dropped my glove, I'm looking right in the sun. So I missed the ball. My glove hand shades it from the sun. I then turn sideways so that when I drop my glove, I'm looking to the side of the sun and not directly back into it. You see a lot of outfielders have trouble with this. The same is true in night ball with the lights. It doesn't do any good to put my glove up and drop it and look into it. As I put my glove up, I start shifting myself around a little so that when the ball comes out, I'm looking away from the lights or the sun so that I can make the play. And that's very important to teach kids. If you got sunglasses, use sunglasses. But with sunglasses, you still do the same thing. What players will do sometimes, I'll be playing this position, and I do that, and I know that's right in the sun, that blocks it. Then I move over 3 or 4 feet, and I do this, and I look right in the sun. So every time you move from your position very much, you need to check the lights or you need to check the sun so that you know where it's at as soon as the ball's hit, not look into them first, and then relocate with your glove to protect yourself from there. Okay. Another thing you take into consideration, every day you go to the ballpark, know what the field's like. Now the field may be soft. Next day the field may be very hard. If the field's soft in the outfield, we tell our outfielders, dive for the ball. That ball, you dive for it, it's going to stick. It's not going to go anywhere. If the ground's very hard and it's real hard, we tell them don't take chances in certain situations. Because if you take a chance and it gets by, it's going to roll to the fence and give up 2 or 3 runs. The most important thing you have to know as a baseball player is you have to know the number of outs, you have to know the score, and you have to know the inning. If you've got that in mind, then you got an idea what to do. In the bottom of the 9th, the winning run on 3rd, I may have to dive for the ball. In the 2nd inning, it may not be a very good play. But in the 9th inning, it's the only play there is. So you have to know the out, the score, and the inning as to when to dive for a ball and when not to dive for the ball. So if the ground's soft, we have our outfielders to dive for it. We have our outfielders, and I know you have trouble with this, everybody does. You've got to get your players to communicate. If a ball's hit in here, the outfielder sometimes got a chance to make a decision. I know I can't reach the ball, and I'm playing center field, so I might say to the left fielder, go for it, go for it. That means if he thinks he can dive for it because he knows I'm going to back him up. But he may not dive for it if he thinks he gets by him and he makes a mistake, it's going to go to the wall and 2 or 3 runs are going to score, and we got a 1-run lead when he could have played it safe. But if he can make the dive for it and I can play it safe for him, then that's a decision that these 2 outfielders can make with each other. The other thing is, if I'm underneath the fly ball, then the other outfielder can be telling me he's tagging up, or he's not tagging. That lets me know what to do with my feet and what to do with my body. He can help me. He's got to be my eyes. He's got to be my eyes to let me know what to do if I can't see everything. It's the same thing if a ball's hit off the fence on extra bases and we're going to throw to the relay man. Then it's important for him the whole time, even though he knows it, hit the relay man, so he gets that in his mind. Hey, I'm going to come up with this ball as soon as I pick it up, and I'm going to fire it at the relay man, and then my job's over. The most common fault we have with outfielders is they will catch the ball, then throw it like it doesn't mean anything. Even an out's made, and I'm going to throw it to the infielder, nobody's advancing. I think it's very important to catch the ball, come up, make a good crisp throw to the infielder, and throw the ball around the infield rather than bounce it or throw it over his head and look sloppy. We're high school coaches, most of us. We want our kids to have the best future, to go to college and play college baseball, get a chance to play professional baseball. When a scout comes out, whether it's a high school scout or a college scout, he wants to know if the person can throw. And if this outfielder catches 3 fly balls and he lobs 3 back in erratically, we don't know if he can throw or not. So it's very important that you have him to do things sharply and crisply so that as people are observing it, they go away with a good impression of the person that they saw on the field. We're going to set a couple of drills up here where the fence is at too, in fair territory or foul territory. If a player's going back to the fence, it's important the other outfielder lets you know, you got room, or watch the fence. The same is true in foul territory. If the shortstop or third baseman is chasing the ball that in this area over here, and I'm an outfielder, and I can run to the fence and yell at him, watch the fence, or you got room, and reassure him, he's got a chance to make that play. So it's important that you help. Fair territory, foul territory, anytime you can help tell a person where the fence is at and help give him some good information, I think that's very, very important. The other thing we haven't talked about is throwing. When you're throwing to the bases, if you're in a position you can throw it in the air and you've got confidence in the kid and he's accurate, he can throw it in the air. If he needs to throw it on a hop, throw it in a hop. Outfielders are notorious for short hopping infielders. That's why I like for our outfielders to come in and take throws sometimes. They come in and they find out what it's like for somebody else to throw the ball 7, 8, 10 feet in front of them and handcuff them as compared to the nice long hop. And that's why you take infield practice and outfield practice, so that when you throw, you can tell how your ball carries. You can tell how the ball is going to bounce based on the strength of your arm. Your senior's going to throw much harder than your freshman in most cases. And there's nothing wrong with that. We have, at our level, we have certain guys with stronger arms than others. We just want them to know where their throw has to be. Another good point that you can time your players on is have one of your players get on third base its average speeders. Have your outfielder to stand in his normal position. Throw him a fly ball, let him catch it, let the guy tag up and see if he can throw him out from what position. So let's say from this position here, I can catch the ball and throw him out at the plate. Then I know that in a ball game, if I'm playing my normal position, there's a fly ball hit here, and I lay back and I come back into my normal position and get it, I got a chance of throwing him out. But if I catch that same ball going back 2 or 3 steps, then I know I can't throw him out. So we do this with our outfielders. We put a runner on third, we flip the ball to the outfielders, guys tag up, and we see how close it is. Then our outfielders find out my arm isn't strong enough to throw him out from here. So if I catch it in my normal position, I can't throw him out. But I know that. And the more that I know and understand about my own, the better off I am. You have to educate your outfielders. Remember the score, the inning, and the number of outs. 1 out, the winning run on third. Guy hits a long fly ball to left field in the bottom of the 7th, to the bottom of the 9th, the last inning of the game. Kid goes over, makes a great running catch, 10 feet in the foul territory. Winning run, tags up, walks home, you get beat. Then you tell the kid, you should have let it fall. You better tell him before it happens. You better work on all that before it happens. Let him know if the ball's in foul territory and that's the winning run, let it drop in the bottom of the 8th or 9th. Or if you think you can get the hitter out. Those are gambles you take. Sometimes you let it fall, next the guy hits a double, you get beat. That's when you coach for. That's when you walk out and say, well, I did what I thought was right, and that. All right, if a runner's tagging up at second base on a fly ball, and we talked about this earlier, all fly balls caught, we want our guys to lay back behind the ball, step in, catch the ball, get their momentum going, and release it. You see too many outfielders catch the ball here and try to move in and they drop it. Stay back as if the ball were going to fall in front of you. Move into it when the runner's tagging up so you have all your momentum going in a direction that you're going to throw the ball. Okay, we'll get the outfielders here in just a few minutes. You're going to throw to me. I like to throw hard. It's going to be a fly ball. Runner's tagging up, and I'm the base. There? Okay. Next outfielder. Goes over, makes the catch. That's it. Outfielders, when they catch the ball, can take a big step coming through. They can really hop up here and come through because they're going to take the longer arm swing. So while they're taking that little extra hop, that gives their arm swing a chance to keep swinging. Okay, now here's a runner on third. If he catches this fly ball here, there's no way he's going to throw him out the plate. See? He just makes sure he catches the ball. The next outfielder comes up. Here's a ball hit. Now he's got a chance. He's got to make sure he gets in position and moves through the ball, baby, and moves through the ball and then makes his throw in that position and works on it. And you can work with your outfielders on this all the time. You can hit to them. You can throw to them. You don't have to hit. It's good to hit. But also, you can get a lot of work out of your outfielders. But here, I could throw them the ball, and we could have them still throwing to the bases from here just to see how their ball bounces in that. We're going to take one off the fence here. We'll go back here and play with the fence a minute. We'll move back here with the fence. You guys, I'm going to throw them off the fence, by the fence. So you're going to find out, it's good, about how many feet you are from the fence. There's a fly ball back. He's got to go back, find the fence, and make the play. If you're near the fence, the runner's going to tag up and advance 1 base anyway. Just make the catch. That's it. Get to the fence first. Get to the fence first. That's it. Get alongside the fence if you have to. If the ball's way over there, get to the fence and run down alongside the fence so that you know where it's at all the time. That's good. Okay, that's playing the fence. Are there any questions you have on outfield play? We'll get into some drills that we use. Here's one more. Right here, his ball's hit directly at him. He's right there. He's playing center field. The ball's hit directly at the center field, and you see center fielders do this. Uh-oh, I made a mistake. Then they go back. If the ball's hit directly at me, and I don't know if it's going to rise or sink, as it's hit at me, I either open up this direction or I open up this direction. That gives me a different perspective of the ball. Now I'm looking at a straight line. I can't tell how far. When I look this way, my distance, my judgment becomes better, and it also, by opening up, gives me a chance to hold momentarily and then go back or come in on a ball. So here's the drill we use here. If I'm throwing at him here, there, the ball over his head. Okay, let's go again. Ball there, over his head, on the other side of him, see? Just so they move. Just so they get in the habit of opening up. Okay, here we go again. There, the ball's down low, he opens up, then he can come in on the ball. So he doesn't know where I'm going to throw it. There it is. There he can come in on it. If it's over his head, he opens up on the ball. You can put two outfielders together. One of you and over here a little. Okay. There's going to be a ball between them. They got to call this ball. Who's going to take this ball? That's good. That's good. They got to call it. Okay. One guy calls ball, ball, ball. Then the other guy's got to get out of his way. Then you have the next one. That's it. He goes in behind to back him up. They call for the ball. That's one way to make your outfielders communicate. We also do this sometimes. We'll throw a high fly ball to him. The left fielder get under it. He'll say, I've lost it. Then the center fielder has to come over and take it for him. Okay, you yell you lose it in the sun or something. Okay, we do that for two reasons. One, it can happen. Two, it makes this other outfielder be very thoughtful of going over and backing the guy up and not just sitting there saying, well, he's going to catch it. The wind may get it. And we all play in wind. And you've got to play the wind. Our center fielder has priority over our left fielder. Our center fielder has priority over our right fielder. Our outfielders have priority over our infielders. So there's a few little rules that we have on who has a judgment to make over each other. We're going to get into a series of drills later on for you where we'll put the outfield drills in. But we'll just show you a couple here. Here's a ground ball. He comes in, left foot's forward, steps through, makes his throw, head high. Good job. Another ground ball, comes in on it. There. That's good. Then we have fly balls. They don't know what's going to happen. Then we have a fly ball out in the gap. He goes over and gets, turns either way he wants. There's my hands up there. Good throw. Line drive, short hop. He's got to go back and get it off the fence. Ball stops. He's going to pick it up barehanded. Make the throw. It's a good job. They're coming right up, hitting the cutoff man. Line drive off the fence. Over his head. He's got to go back. It's going to die. He picks it up, makes the throw. Those are good throws. Those are excellent. And that's the things that we teach and stay with our outfielders on over and over. Remember this with outfielders. You got to go out and hit them a lot of fly balls, a lot of ground balls. The most important fly balls and ground balls they can catch are the ones that are hit off the bat in batting practice. One other little word of wisdom that took me a few years to learn. If you're going to hit to your outfielders and you want them to learn to play the ball that breaks towards the line, let your left-handed fungo hitters hit to the left fielders, because then the ball will do this. But when you hit the right field, when you're fungoing, a left-hander's ball always goes this way, fungoing, not in the game, but fungoing, and a right-hander's always goes the other way. So that when you fungo to the right fielder, make sure you use a right-handed fungo hitter if you want him to get the true flight of what the ball does. But in the game, with a hitter, regardless if he's a left-hand hitter or right-hand hitter, the ball will always go to the foul line. Just remember that. It took me a while to learn. I drove a kid crazy one time. I said, if I hit at you over your right shoulder, you're playing right field. Open this way. He opened this way, and I'm left-handed. He kept going that way. It took us 2 years to figure that out. I about drove him crazy. So it's important that you take the time to put the fungo hitters in the place that you want them to go. And learn the fungo. Learn to hit line drives, learn to hit ground balls. With the fungo bat, that makes them react a little quicker. And that. Bring me a fungo, Neil. Neil, bring me a fungo. Let me just show you here a couple minutes. Take you guys a few minutes here, and we'll take a fungo bat, and we do this a lot. We don't hit from home plate. You want to catch him in? Bigger on the other side of me, though. Catch him in. Here, we have fungo hitters sit here and hit a line drive at him, ground ball, whatever. He's going to work on his footwork. Here's a slow ground ball he should charge at, and he charges it. Here's the fly ball. He goes back. There, he makes it with his back to the infield, and that's good. We spend a tremendous amount of time working with our outfielders going their back to the infield. The better they are going back, the more shallow they can play. The more shallow they can play, the better your defense is going to be. And they can learn to do it. All you got to do is sit here and practice with them, going over and over. That's a great play, right near the fence. So and the thing is, if you want to play the fence, have them to get near it, but not too close to it, so they don't get hurt. That way, we can make every ball that we hit, be near the fence. We can make every ball be near the fence. Move up just a little. Okay. Every ball can be near the fence this way. They learn to play the fence. We have to do this a lot, get them close to the fence. And you get a line drive, ground ball, Then they try to play the ball with their foot forward, hop through, arm action, and good release point. If you want them to work on chasing the ball a little, now you can hit it in the gap. See, he tried to pick that ball up, stopped with his glove, it fell out, he had to reach back barehanded. So once it stops, you're well off to pick it up barehanded. They all start back after a while. Okay. See, make a dive and catch here. You ready? Start coming in. Hurry up, gotta catch that ball. Too far, okay, here we go. That's too far out. We'll get one here in a minute. That should be about right. There you go. So you got to make it. See, that ball didn't bounce anywhere. It's a high, soft fly ball. It's not going to go very far. So that one you can play in that direction. Do you have any questions you want to ask? Any drills that you want to see at this part with outfielders? One drill that we use a lot during batting practice is I stand out by second base, and even during inter-squad games, and say the pitch is thrown, it's a ball or a strike, then I hit one to the outfielder. And he'll pick it up and throw it back in maybe to second. We'll have another player stand at second base and take the throws. We'll stand again, say the next pitch is thrown, it's hit or not hit, then we'll hit another ball to the other outfielder. He'll come up and work on his throw. That way, when practice is over, if both pitchers threw no hitters or no balls were hit to the outfielder still got a good workout. So I think they're the most neglected people in most programs. And I think you have to put some time in with it. And you can have other players of fungo. If you can't fungo and you don't have time, let some other player go out there and learn to hit fungos. And that way they can work on fly balls. There he went to his right. Next guy comes up straight over his head. See, okay, there he got tangled up a little, and that's good. That's why you work on it. You do that enough times, then he'll get to where he can make it. This is a short distance here. He doesn't have much time to react. If he makes one bad move, that ball's on him in a hurry. And that's why we work at this short of a distance. And the one they have the most trouble with is a ball that's directly over their head. And at this close, you can be pretty accurate. At this close, you can be pretty accurate with your fungo or throwing. See, that's just out of their reach. He makes a good play, or it's off his glove. That's the one that you work on right there. We expect them. We expect them to be able to catch that. Well, not that one. Here you go. We expect them to be able to catch the ball that's right to them like that. We kind of take that for granted at our level. And you better be, at your level, you got to work on it and hope they catch it. But you expect them to be caught at your level the same way. So if there's no questions, and that will come back to, if you think of any questions, write them down. If there's anything that comes up later, don't be afraid to ask any of us here, because we're here to try to help and answer any questions that you have. Okay, thank you. Thanks, gentlemen.